Welcome to the Top 16 Origins Columbus, Ohio Regionals deck profile for Armor Rush Vmon. I've not been playing the deck really too long, actually. In fact, I didn't even get much playtesting in with the deck prior to this regional, but it's showing to be a pretty good deck. Its worst matchups would probably be Yellow Rapid Hybrid and Mastamon. They're the only matchups that I actually truly lost to. One other matchup that I lost to on Thursday was an Imperial Dramon. I was swinging him for lethal and lost to a Hammer Spark. So we all know, checking blue players' security stacks, that's a problem. But for the most part, let's go ahead and get into this. We start off with the babies. So we've got 4 of the blue Upamons. If you're not running Imperial Dramon as your blue deck, these are the best blue babies right now. And sometimes even then, they're probably your best blue babies. That's why they're $10. Really expensive. If you didn't pick up your playset, then I'm sorry. And then the one of, we've got a Demi Vmon. This is the once per turn, when it unsuspends during your main phase, you gain 1,000 DP. This has come into effect way more times than the Demi Vmon that is 8 or more cards in your hand, gain 1,000 DP. I would say that you could argue that this could definitely be the Demi Vmon that is when jamming draw a card. But for the most part, it's coming clutch. There's been many times where, thank you Monkey for holding my deck for me. There's been many times where the Demi Vmon has come in clutch with that unsuspend, because we have plenty of times where we'll Armor Purge and go into the another Digimon and unsuspend with like a Ken Davis or something. So let's go ahead and get into the actual deck. So to start off our rookie count, we have our 4 jamming Vmons. The main staple Vmon of the Armor Rush deck. The Imperial Dramon deck normally runs only like 2 of these and goes for the other searchers. For more consistency, it keeps its pieces going, but the Armor deck wants these mainly for interactions with the Armor Purge and Fire Rocket. So you want to mainly Fire Rocket any Armor Digimon that has the jamming Vmon on top of it, or below it. I mean, correct? Yeah, below it. So there's that. And then for the Searcher Vmons, we have 3 of the 2-color Searchers and 3 of the free Searcher Vmons. There could be an argument to let's actually get the rest of them out. We have 2 of each of the Inherit Vmons as well. That's the rest of the rookie line. There could be an argument to take out 2 of the Hammer Sparks that we'll get to later to up the Vmon count by 2. This is entirely personal preference. Again, I haven't had enough time testing the deck. I've only been playing for about a week. If I was to say that there would be any increases if you take out Hammer Sparks, I'd say Out of the Vmons that have been overperforming, the two-color Vmon's been very good. It's gotten me Megadeth and Ken Davis's plenty of times when I need them. Either to set up a nice memory turn for next turn, or like put my opponent behind by putting something back with Megadeth, and making them have to reset entirely of the entirety of their stack. So, if you were to take out a Hammer Spark and go for the change or whatnot for these, I'd say maybe add either one of each of these, or one more memory and one more of the two-color Vmon searcher. That would be my thoughts on that, at least. So now on to the armor Digimon. We have 4 Flamedramon. This is your main fire rocket target. You want this on top of your jamming Vmon 9 times out of 10. Plus 3000 DP when attacking. Obviously armor purge like every armor Digimon that we have in here. The DP increase for the attack of this, it continues over. So even if it's deleted during checks or whatnot, and you re-digivolve on top of it, remember that the when attacking DP is continuous until the end of your turn. So that will actually come into effect later when we talk about a nice combo with the deck. So the next armor we have is our Pyeldramon. Pyeldramon is great armor purge. It is, in fact, probably your best card against the Mastamon matchup. Anytime that they hard cast Gatomon, if you have this in your hand, use it. If you can move a Vmon out into your play area and play this for your 2 memory and suspend their Gatomon and swing over it, do it. If not, you will lose 100% of the time, because they will outpace you with Gatomon's 1 for Digivolve and just hard cast something and blow up your field. It's impossible to get past. Otherwise, obviously a great Davis target. You get it with Davis and some other blue card. And other things with it, I could say, it gets over Stingmons, XVmons for Imperial Dramon. What's some other key cards that it could get over currently that I'm thinking of? It pushes out to suspend other armor Digimon in the mirror match as well, to trade with them. So that's another good thing to remember. And next we have the super mainstay of the armor deck, which is the Magnamon 4 of. Later on, obviously in BT9, we have Magnamon X Antibody, which will make this crazy. But for now, this is currently probably one of the best blockers in format that isn't obviously a major stacked X Antibody or a Black or Greymon. I've had Magnamons that I've had not exactly died to security, but my bad. I have died to security, or I've traded with a Mega and then like re-digivolved it into another Magnamon and have like a 17k blocker or whatnot. Not only that, but there are many times where you can take an armor purge and swing into one of their Digimon and just de-digivolve, in fact, and then put a Magnamon on top of that Vmon, unsuspend it because of its own effect, and increase the DP of the Magnamon because of basically trashing a source of the top of your Digimon and then swinging into said boss monster. Pretty much sometimes will either A, set them back so much that they can't get over your Magnamon because it'll keep the DP until the end of their turn, and will also just like swing tempo in your favor sometimes. It's very good. It gives them like something that they have to deal with, and they have to deal with it twice because Armor Purge. Very good, very good, very good skill. And we have 2 Lobomons. These push out game. Lobomon's self-explanatory for obvious reasons. And then we go into level 5s. We have 2 Pyeldramons. These were originally my armor textures, but we don't run armor texture at all. Armor texture is a pretty terrible card. This also finishes off a nice combo. I wouldn't say you would have this combo many times when it comes off, and I'll get to it after we get to the rest of the deck. But there is a 7 check. So basically, if they have 6 security, there is a 5 memory turn where you can actually OTK them with this Pyeldramon. The other level 5 that we have is 2 Chimerons.
Hey Jerry, did you get that anal porn I sent you?
Oh, no.
Oh yes, for sure. So we have 2 Chimerons. They're very good for control. Also pushing out game for DNA Digivolving. Resetting effects for getting more draws and whatnot. Pushes over sometimes. It's very easy to get this to the 4 color mark and then getting it to 12k and pushing over some of their boss monsters as well. There's many times also where you can get this to the 4 and just hard Digivolve it or whatnot and put something underneath it to kill their Gatomons. Very good thing to do. Remember that for sure, because like I said, Gatomon, if you cannot deal with it, you will just lose the matchup to Mastamon 100%. To the Tamers, we have 4 Ken Davises and 3 Davises. Ken Davis, obviously, for memory reasons, and our Davis for resetters. So, after that, we're going into our options. We have the 4 Hammer Sparks, and like I was saying earlier about the VMons, you can definitely 100% take the 2 of these out for 2 more VMons to up the VMon count to 16 rather than 14. It is your preference on what I what I mentioned in terms of what you'd want to add, but other than that, we have 4 fire rockets. This 4 fire rockets is the main option of the deck. Pushing this on to a Flame Dramon with a jamming Vmon on it is your best thing that you should be doing. Lastly, we have 2 Megadeths and 1 Ice Wall for control. Megadeth is a very memory efficient card. 8 cards in your deck. Basically, turn it on just by being in play or in breeding. And one of them is pretty much hard to interact with besides with the Mastamon deck, which Lucamon pretty much just kills it. Ice Wall was one of my Armor Purge's Armor Textures originally. But when I completely took out Armor Textures, I saw that Ice Wall was better whenever it was in my hand than it would have been if it was an Armor Texture. So now that we've gone through the deck, let's go ahead and get through a couple of combos, obviously. Let's grab a few things out here. So, one thing that you can have in particular, and though this isn't a setup you'd have very often, but it did happen to me once today. And when I was thinking about the inclusion of the Pyldramons for this deck last night instead of armor textures, I thought of this combo. There's plenty of times where you'll have both Kenan Davis and a regular Davis in play and a Lydramon out. Or maybe even the opposite way around. It doesn't really matter. Either way, one of this setup in particular, and these two cards in hand, you're going to go ahead and just move out either one of the armor Digimon once your start of your turn goes. You're going to go all the way up to your 5. I don't have anything to mark it, but go up to your 5. You're going to go ahead and Fire Rocket and go down to 4 after the Kenan Davis and whatnot, and then that. Go ahead and swing for 2 checks at 8k. Hopefully this survives. That's the main point of this. If it survives the 2 checks, you go ahead and use your remaining 4 to regular Digivolve onto the Pyldramon, tapping the Kenan Davis, unsuspending it, and then checking for 2 more checks. The DP carries over. And also, there's points in time where you'll have this Dimivimon underneath it, so it unsuspended. Since the DP carries over, this Pyldramon is actually checking for 12,000 DP, which gets over a good amount of things besides most boss monsters. And then would unsuspend. Now you've checked 4 security, and you'll swing one more time. You've checked now 6 security, and you still have that Lydramon, or originally was the Flamedramon, but you'll use the Lydramon to last check for game. That is a 5 memory play that you only really need 2 tamers and 1 thing set up and raising, and then not deal with 1 card on your board. It's not something that's like super easy to set up, but I mean it can happen definitely for sure. It's probably the most memory efficient combo in the deck that gets the most checks, and it gets about the same amount of checks that you would get if the it actually gets more checks that when it's the Pyldramon than it would be if it was armor texture. You would actually need 2 armor textures to get about that many checks with the that you would with the Pyldramon, due to the unsuspend. So that's my reasoning for putting the Pyldramon over the armor textures for that. And otherwise, matchups were 2-0 versus an Ancient Greymon deck in the first round, 2-0 versus a purple-blue Beelstarmon deck, 2-1 versus X-Antibody, 2-1 versus Imperial Dramon, 0-2 versus Mastamon, 2-0 versus Armor Rush Mirror, 2-1 versus Imperial Dramon, and then top 16 1-2 versus Mastamon and knocked out. I took the first game and then just basically couldn't control out the rest of either the second 2 the other 2 games. Other than that, though, it was a pretty fun day at Origins, and I really enjoyed it, and I hope that this deck sees a little bit more play rather than yellow hybrids and Mastamon and Imperial Dramon decks, super popular decks. But I mean, you gotta give it to the little guys. They need love too. So you know what's up. This is Jogris and Rancher signing out. Have a good one.
Hell yeah.
I thought it was over. I was gonna say Eddie said the little guys need love too. That was the line, dude. Eddie said those little guys need love too.
Hell yeah. The
You
audience
needed
still
to catch him
recording.
hitting that fucking again at the end. Dude.
Yeah, I know.